Hello darlings, it's pitch dark, it's wet, it's foggy, it's miserable, and I'm going to work. I'm in Barney, who I hope and trust is going to start. Christ, only just. He desperately needs a new battery, does Barney. Hey ho. Okay darlings, I'll catch you in a bit. Well, this is just absolutely bloody hellish. I didn't realise it was I didn't realise it was this bad. God, I really am struggling. Deary me. This is no fun at all. I've just had a thought. Now, you might remember that I swapped the gramophone on this here Barney, and the gramophone that was in him that was really wrongly coloured to suit his interior ambience, that gramophone is now in which one is he in? Oh, it's in Minge Bag, isn't it? Yeah, it's in Minge Bag. And this gramophone that was in Minge Bag is now in here. It's doing the thing where it resets itself. You know, as if you know what they do when they're disconnected from power? It loses all of its presets and is no longer automatically plumps into your phone and whatnot. And I assumed that when I've fitted it, I've dislodged a wire, or partially dislodged a wire, or something like that. So on my list was taking it out, checking all the wiring, sorting out whatever the issue was, and sticking it back in. But it's just occurred to me, I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think that this battery is so end of life that when you start the car, it effectively goes completely flat. There's nothing left in the battery. It all goes to trying to start the car, which is why it turns over so slowly. And that is what's resetting the stereo. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So I need to, I really need to fit a new battery, so I might see if I can scrape some money together tonight and order one. Can't go on like this. It's going to cause problems, as it did with Brian when Brian needed a new battery. Oh, and I watched Mustard's video when I was in the bath, the one with Turbo Tom, and I see that Brian is now even more knackered, quite apart from the stuff that he's failed the MOT on, that we've still not, despite Neil's very best and kindest efforts, still hasn't been sorted. He now won't start. I've got a sinking feeling about Brian. Now, back in September, I think it was, I renewed Brian's insurance, and now obviously I wish I hadn't. But I think I might swap that policy onto Barney here. And I think I might just have to accept that Brian is kaput and never coming back. Flood. I mean, they didn't, Mustard and Tom Turbot didn't talk about it not starting, but I see that later on in the video it didn't move. They didn't move it. So presumably it's just completely dead, and if they can't get it started between them, then it's got to be something pretty serious. So think Brian has just, I think he's had enough. I think he's begging to be taken to Dignitas in Switzerland and given a peaceful end, which is a real shame. A real shame, but there you go. That's cars for you. What can you do? Oh, this is absolutely hateful. Bloody hell. Visibility is about 7 feet. Not so bad on a road where you have white lines, where you have white lines on the road, cat's eyes and whatnot, but on a totally unmarked lane, very tricky indeed. It's an awful lot easier driving behind somebody in fog. Makes it a hell of a lot easier. When you've got nobody in front of you, not so easy. And basically, I've had somebody behind me pretty much all the way, and suddenly, or eventually, I caught up with this little convoy that were going even slower than me, and suddenly it's become much easier. Although I'm hoping that we're going to be hitting the kind of main road now. That should be easier, and we'll be losing altitude and we'll be going away from farmland, so hopefully the fog will recede. This has been awful. See, now the fog is just as thick, or nearly just as thick, but you've got white lines and cat's eyes. It gives you a point of reference, and so much easier to make more reasonable progress. Ah, well, that was pretty much horrible. Fog, floods, pestilence. Well, I didn't actually see any pestilence, but ooh, I'll have that one. Oh, and look to your right. She's an... Okay, maybe you can't see. I can. An iPhone 13 might be jolly clever in many ways, but its eyes aren't quite as good as mine. Right, let's go and do a bit. My new best friend has saved me one of these absolutely delicious. There he is, my best friend in the world, Sabanada, has saved for me one of these utterly delicious pieces of biscuity chocolate goodness. Look at that. Look at that. That is fantastic. Whoa. Thank you very much, my friend.
Most welcome.
Oh, little bit late leaving tonight. Oh, I was just about to say it again. I was just about to say unexpectedly busy. And I said, I've got to stop saying that because it's not unexpected. Bollocks. Whoops. Oh, for God's sake, what's going on? Learn to drive, sunshine. Jesus Christ. Yeah, even though it's Tuesday, which should be a dead day. It's December, isn't it? Well into December now, so quiet days don't really happen now until the new year. So Podbina and Savannah have been busy looking after front of house, and I've been out all night actually. I've been doing non-stop deliveries all night. I've barely been in the restaurant. The only customer I've spoken to was the very last customer. Very nice chap actually, lovely chap. So we'll take this bicycle. The rest of the time, not a sausage. If only I could find a driver who's daft enough to work for the same wage that that I do. There's no pressure until the end of the month. The end of the month will be a different kettle of fish when Savannah goes and Bikas goes, but for this month it's not a problem. I can carry on just dipping in and out. Oh yeah, I meant to tell you, had a ping tonight from the lovely Jake, who is just the nicest young man that you could ever meet. And Fanny Freestyle, remember Fanny? Fanny has changed hands, and Jake's mate has bought it. So Jake was asking me for any information about it, which of course I was glad to give. And yeah, so obviously Rob must have had his fun and decided to move her on rather than doing whatever with her over the winter. But by all accounts, she's ended up with a splendid home, and she's going to have a life of pampering and being taken to shows. So that's good. I loved that car. It was like the perfect MG F/TF. It was kind of all of the best bits of minge bag and wet leg, but in the same car. Shame it wasn't silver, otherwise it would have gone nowhere. Okay, my theory about the gramophone may have just been proved to be erroneous, or even downright wrong, as it's kind of just reset itself while the car was running. So I need to hoik it out and have a look at the old wires. Oh well, it was a nice theory. I enjoyed having it. I'm rather enjoying being back in Barney. Isn't it reassuring when life gives you what you expect? Now, I left work late today, so I was fully expecting to get stuck behind a load of dawdling Derricks and Dorises, and for every traffic light to be red. And I've not been disappointed, my darlings. I was stuck behind a personage in a 07 plate Honda Civic who was travelling at the speed of continental drift. I've seen quicker icebergs, blood and sands. However, we are now on the unfettered open road, and I can unleash Barney's full potential. 105 thundering brake horsepower unleashed on the open dark road. Yes, here we go, darlings. My goodness me, that's 60 miles an hour without any sort of issue whatsoever, and I change into top gear and then think, well, I probably shouldn't have done that, because that puts the revs at 2,500, and torque is just another word in the dictionary to a 1.4K series. So if I actually want to make continued progress, the road either needs to flatten out or I need to drop back down to 4th. Although I'm pretty happy doing 60 at the moment. Here comes somebody with his lights on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here comes someone with his lights on. Dee, diddly, dee. Racing change down to 4th. Oh, a nice bit of double declutching there, my little fluffy kittens. My little imperial mint humbugs that have been left in a pocket without a wrapper on, and have got all sorts of pocket fur, but I don't care. I'm gonna pop it in my mouth anyway. What in the name of arse am I talking about? Oh dear. I think that hangover might finally be starting to lift. I think a glass of wine might see it off. I'm never drinking vodka again. Sod that nasty poisonous stuff. Oh, we're back into the fog. Jolly good. Right then, darlings, that is it for this one. I apologise that it's just been me driving to work and back and nothing more interesting than that. But hey ho, that's what happens sometimes. I'll try and do something mildly more interesting tomorrow. No, I can't guarantee it. Right, that's me home, heading in to do a live stream. Thank you for watching. Have a safe and peaceful night. Take great care of yourselves. Much love to you all, and I will see you very soon.